Did somebody call you Mr. Conqueso today?
Oh my god!
I was
forgot about that one.
Oh, dude.
Oh yeah, this girl, she goes, I know I call you Mr. C, but what's your name? And I was like, Contreras. She said, I can't say that. Can I just say Conqueso?
And did you tell her that sounds about right?
I loved it. I was like, yeah, that's good. I've never heard that one before.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Everybody hold on to your butt.
Hey, what's going on? We are Living in Fiction Fantasy Football Podcast. As always, I'm Fernie. I've got with me my buddy Art.
What's up?
And my buddy Diane.
How's it going?
Hey, guys. So
my voice cracked there.
Oh.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Already off to a rough start.
Yeah. That started early. All right. No, good. Clear your throat, buddy.
Sorry.
Yeah, right into the mic. Thanks.
Everyone wants to hear that.
I'm sorry.
All right. Let's get started. Let's talk about week one real quick. Just recap. How'd you guys do?
League-wise, I did well. Won 5 out of 6
Nice.
because I had Kareem Hunt and Stephon Diggs in those 5 out of 6.
Yeah. I won 5 out of 5.
Ooh.
Dude, it's
That's
the only time
nice.
it'll ever happen. You know,
Dude, I went 2-0.
Nice.
I went 2-0.
That's good, man.
I beat your mom.
Well, that's the only time you could say that sounds acceptable.
Terrible.
I beat your mom good.
Because usually your mother, dude, she has the killer teams, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I know.
good night.
That's because
She's- Hey,
drafts for her.
I don't draft for her. Seriously, I don't.
You don't?
I don't. I stopped that 2 years ago.
Wow.
Oh.
Nice.
I told her, I said, hey, I need monies. So you're on your own. You want to draft a bum-ass team? Go ahead.
Knock yourself out. So, obviously, big winners of week one, Kareem Hunt. Anyone that had Kareem Hunt just ran away with it.
Good way to start.
I was listening to the podcast on Friday morning, and I was like, oh, my God, we sound so dumb because we do not know.
All we talked about was like the fumble, and we were like, it's over. Go pick up Charkandrick West.
Yeah, it's the West show.
And then what happened?
Oh, man, that was amazing. to
Yeah,
watch.
man.
That was really awesome.
really
It
good.
really looked like Andy Reid was like, I need the new Jamal Charles, and you found him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. He's an exciting player.
Anyone
And
else?
the way they're using him.
Yeah.
There's one league. It's 9 o'clock. It's 9:30 at night. Right? It's been a full day.
Oh yeah, full disclosure, we're recording this one day earlier than usual, and usually we record right at like 6, and we're all recording right now at about 9:30 at night. And
Yeah.
we're exhausted.
This is awesome, though.
I'm gonna tell you about my most proudest win. I'm most proud of this because it was my sister-in-law, and I beat her good. The only reason why I beat her is because I had 80 points from 2 players, and that was Kareem Hunt and the Rams defense.
Dude,
Other
that
than that-
Rams defense.
Dude, combined, the rest of my team had 20 points. That was the only reason why I won.
Anyone else you guys want to talk about big winners this weekend?
Oh, I think everyone, one thing I always tell people is don't, because my mom's guilty of this all the time. So, like, for example, she loves Russell Wilson, so she tried to draft him in every league. And the second she saw that he had a really rough week one, she'll say something like, I knew I should have drafted Tom Brady instead of Russell Wilson. And I'm like, did you not watch Thursday night?
Yeah.
He had, like, the worst game out of, like, almost every quarterback.
Yeah.
It's week one. You have no idea what's going to happen. Players, there's a small chance Kareem Hunt is a one-hit wonder and he never does anything remotely close to that ever again. So if you have him, good luck. I'm not saying dropping him, but if you took an L in week one, just take it in stride and just try to turn things around and see how things happen. Because if you think about all the first rounders, aside from Antonio Brown,
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon,
Yeah. No one really did anything.
Nothing.
So, just think about that. I mean, Odell Beckham didn't even play. It's week one. It's a long season. You're gonna be fine.
All the analysts always talk about that, how it's a season-long game. And I mean, if you're just looking at the top 5 quarterbacks from last week, Trevor Siemian is up there. There's no way you drafted Trevor Siemian over Russell Wilson. Or no way that you won.
Wasn't Alex Smith one of the highest?
Alex Smith was the top.
He was at the top.
37
Literally
points.
one of my leagues, I had my 2 quarterbacks with the Carsons. I just dropped Carson Palmer for Alex Smith because he was just still, even
Absolutely.
after waivers passed on Tuesday or on Wednesday, he was still available. People don't think. I think he's legit.
Yeah, I do. I think he's going to have a really good year. I dropped him, Carson Palmer, for a Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Palmer looks done.
bad.
Palmer, Eli, like they just need to go to a meeting and say, "Hey guys, it's over."
¿Sabes qué, bro?
The AARP. Jeez, man.
You can do commercials.
Right?
So yeah, talk to your brother, see if he can get me on that Nationwide or DirecTV or something.
Something. Ask Tony, hey, you got a spot next to him.
Hey, I'm going to tell you
I can
something.
talk.
So we were at Arts on Sunday, and we listened to Tony Romo do color
Really
commentating.
good.
He was good.
And there's a video floating around on Twitter where they smashed all the different times throughout that broadcast where he was like, "Oh, they're going to run this to the left." Sure enough, it would happen. Like he was forecasting. They showed at least 6 or 7 plays where he's like, "They're going to attack this part right here."
Man, I love that guy even more now.
Everyone was like, "This was amazing!" Like his first, it couldn't have gone any better.
Wow.
That is awesome.
See, I've always said it. And it never happened, but I always said, if Tony Romo goes to another team, because everybody, Cowboy haters, or Cowboy bandwagoners are like, "Sabes qué, bro, we got to trade him." And I'm
The
like,
ABCs.
no, don't do it. Because I'm going to tell you what, he's going to go to another team, he's going to burn us.
Yeah.
And case in point.
If his back wasn't all messed up and he would have done one more year,
Yeah.
can you imagine him like knowing what he knows and how well he plays? Like if Palmer really is done, they could have used someone like Romo.
Can you imagine that?
Heck yeah. Absolutely.
Or, I mean, at the time, of course, he wasn't going to be back, and Dak was the guy. But when Carr went out, all I could think is, I can't even imagine what Tony Romo would do behind an offensive line like that.
That would have been
Can you imagine?
a real good move.
Oh, I know. What could have been?
What it could have been, no, but he's now telestrating. Mm-hmm. So, all right, that's week 1, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about. So, this week, what we did was we updated our Living in Fiction website, and Art, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I started that Living in Fiction website 2.5 years ago or so.
I think it was 3, dude.
Yeah, and so it was just my own ramblings. I had people that were asking me advice on who they should start, who they should pick up. And so I just started it by myself. And then I think later that year, in the middle of that season, I started that podcast by myself. Then I took basically all of last year off. I had some family stuff going on. We started the podcast up again this season. And now I figured, okay, we need to update the website. So I updated the website now. It's also linked to our official Crowd in Town Creative website. So to make it easier, just go to crowdintowncreative.com. There's a Living in Fiction tab right on the top. That'll take you to my column on sleepers for the week, my waiver wire column, about the 3 of us. And it also has a link to the SoundCloud of our podcast. So if you're subscribing, keep subscribing. But if you ever, for some reason, you want to go on SoundCloud, it's on there too.
And it's also, we did the YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did
So
the
we're on
YouTube for all the
YouTube
YouTube Redders? I got a couple of requests for that, and that was why I spent this weekend just uploading everything to the YouTube. YouTube Reddit is awesome, man. I mean, I had no idea really what it was about, and I didn't realize you can just keep playing the audio from the video when you subscribe like that. So yeah, it's up there for as many people, as many chances you can get to listen to it.
Yeah. And so if you every week we'll be posting on Instagram like just general pictures of some of the sleepers that we have for the week. But if you want to get the background on why I think they're a good start, plus some of my more selective plays in terms of if you're real gutty and you want to play a quarterback in daily, that I call those my Hail Mary plays. Like they could get you 5 points, they can get you 25 points. But players that I just think are going to do well, put those exclusively on the website.
Guys, do not sleep on Arthur's sleepers because he could make you some serious money. I did the math, and this weekend in daily fantasy, at DraftKings, I multiplied my bets by 48 times. If only it was just a quarter, and I won $12. But I mean,
Really? You went from a quarter to $12?
Yeah.
Wow.
I got that top 100. Remember?
That's right.
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And I used Art Stack from last week.
That's awesome.
I sure did.
That's cool, man. You owe us some money.
Yeah. So now you gotta
You gotta buy some lunch
Yeah.
or something.
Oh, I bought myself some lunch, yeah.
no. I want
Just for myself,
I
right?
want like a pumpkin spice latte.
But you're only gonna buy one.
I actually bought myself that avocado. That's what I bought myself the next day.
I'm having my dinner right now as we are talking.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, all right.
so yeah,
let's
that's
move
how
on.
we're doing the website.
So let's talk some news. David Johnson out until Christmas.
Dumb.
That I've heard some folks say Christmas. Now technically, I believe it's 6 or 8 weeks that for sure he has to be out.
Yeah.
But I've heard that the severity of that risk could be pretty bad. I heard so from what it sounds like, he injured it. Thought it was like, oh, maybe he just got rattled a little bit.
Yeah.
Went back out. Fumbled on the next play because it hurt so bad.
Dude.
So there's a chance he dislocated his wrist, went back, played, and got it hit again.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're putting him on IR. From what it looks like they're doing, and I think it's always the most boring thing to do, is they signed, or they have Kerwin Williams and Andre Ellington on their roster right now. What they're doing is they signed Chris Johnson back, who's an old player who's just not good anymore,
Yeah.
but knows the system, which I always think is the most boring move. We saw some really exciting running backs that aren't the starters. There's like a team, like right now, a team like the Cardinals, a team like the Giants, could easily throw a 4th or 5th round pick and get Jerick McKinnon, who looked really good on Monday night for the Vikings.
He looked awesome, man.
But instead they want to go with someone who knows their system. So anyway, so it sounds like they're going to use a full-blown committee there with Arizona.
Just to run the ball.
Yeah, I think they're going to use Kerwin Williams as their power back because they don't have you can't just replace David Johnson, because he could do everything.
Yeah.
Kerwin Williams is going to be their power back. Andre Ellington's going to be their third down receiving back. Chris Johnson, he'll probably do a little bit of both. They also signed DJ Foster off of the Patriots practice squad.
Yeah.
I've always liked him a lot. He's looked really good. He looked like kind of like the Shane Vereen for the Patriots in the preseason when he used to be there. I think he might be their most talented back, but I mean he's 4th on the depth chart right now. There's no reason to go out and get him.
Yeah.
If there's anybody I'm starting this weekend, is Kerwin Williams. He has the most potential if he does really well this weekend to keep the job. I just don't have the confidence in him. He just doesn't look like a great running back.
Yeah, I don't have any confidence in it. I picked up Chris Johnson in a couple leagues just because of the familiarity that you're talking about. But I'm not starting anybody anytime soon.
But what I will say is that for teams that have won, it doesn't mean you need to sit back and not, try out the waiver wire or something like that. Because of what I will say is if this teaches you anything, it's that if there's a talented running back that's behind a starter right now, and you have the space on your roster, pick someone up. If I still see Chris Carson's still out there, there's a chance that Thomas Rawls comes back, gets hurt again, and Chris Carson's the starter. So if you have room, pick up Chris Carson.
High possibility that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charkandrick West. We just saw Kareem Hunt do really well. We've seen Charkandrick West do really well. If there's a chance, given the workload that Kareem Hunt's getting, that he gets hurt, then pick up Charkandrick West. If you need help at running back, there are a number of guys out there that I would pick up just in the chance. Marlon Mack is another one.
Yeah.
He looked really good. He did fumble. He really should have had 2 touchdowns this past weekend. Now, granted, it was a total blowout. The second touchdown came in garbage time. But that first one, that was legit.
He looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, young talent. Who's been my pickup because I have the Bills running back in a few leagues. It's been Mike Tolbert.
Yeah.
To back up LaShawn McCoy. And, because you're right, Mike Tolbert would be the guy. He's the only guy.
Yeah, there's literally no one else behind. Yeah, and he got a lot of work on Sunday.
He did, man. He got that touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be an all right flex play if you're in a deeper league.
And it's one of those situations
So
where
you're hearing my wife and the cat. The cat's a big old pain. Sorry, I'm sorry, guys.
But if LaShawn McCoy went down with an injury, he's one of those players you can't just substitute someone in and they're going to be LaShawn McCoy. It'll be a combination of. It'll be something of Mike Tolbert and one of their other third string running backs that they're going to have. They'll bring someone else in, but Mike Tolbert might get a bunch of carries because they know that he works well in their system.
Oh, yeah. And when was the last time LaShawn McCoy played all 16 games, right?
That's what I'm saying.
I know. All right.
All right, let's move on. Danny Woodhead is out 4 to 6 weeks.
I think this is actually pretty good because I thought he was going to be out for a lot more. I will say there were in some leagues where I didn't mind dropping him, even though he was a big part of what they were doing. I'm not suggesting that for other people. In that league, I was desperate for a second running back. So I'd like the upside of Buck Allen. I think Terrence West has looked good, but he's not like a special talent. I know they really liked Buck Allen before, but he couldn't stay healthy. He's healthy now, and it looked like as soon as Danny Woodhead went out with the injury, like they just said, okay, Buck Allen, you're the guy behind now.
Yeah.
And granted, they got up, so they ran the ball 40 times, which is insane.
Incredible.
So that's
what team did they do that against? I forgot. Who were they beating? Who did they beat?
A memory is I don't
Whoever
remember
it
the
was,
team.
they didn't just beat them. They
they
annihilated,
blew
right?
out
Yeah, it was
the Bengals
so badly that I don't recall the name of the team.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Or the quarterback.
Oh man, no, nobody on that team really. Is there
What's his
anybody?
name?
Yeah, they're probably selling that team, huh?
Yeah, probably.
They
may move.
Last place, yeah.
They may move.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yellow bunch
Who
of
Do you like how he just breezed over that? Like, they were up they're up a lot.
They're up by
We're talking about
quite a
Terrence
bit.
West.
Yeah, they were up by quite a bit. But even in that situation, I've seen a couple folks on some fantasy analysts who believe that there is a chance by the time Danny Woodhead gets back, that there's a chance Buck Allen could win that job outright. If it's just between him and Terrence West, that he has the talent to take that job away. So he's worth an ad. I wouldn't outright drop Danny Woodhead because that first series when he got run, they used him a lot, like a ton. He did this awesome, like one-handed catch. It was crazy. So if he gets healthy and back with the Ravens, he's going to be a big part of what they do. But that hamstring was hurting him all preseason. He was finally healthy. He played one series and got hurt again. So
and a non-contact injury too.
And those
man.
hamstring injuries have a tendency to linger. So that's the other reason why I didn't mind dropping him for someone else that I needed right away.
Okay, let's move on. Deshaun Watson starting on Thursday versus the Bengals.
And I'm going to include this into the next thing that we have on here, which is basically everyone in Houston is hurt. They literally, all of their tight ends have a concussion.
Wow.
At the time, like I think a few hours ago, their middle linebacker, Brian Cushing, was out with a concussion. And then later on, it came out he was suspended for the whole, I think it's 10 games for performance-enhancing drugs. They have a number of players who are hurt. They're bringing up someone I've never heard of from the practice squad to serve as their tight end because they literally, again, they don't have anybody else. But they are. It does seem like Deshaun Watson is going to be the starter for Thursday.
I hope so. You know, he added something to the game. He looked
definitely
all right.
that. I saw this video from that's been going around on Twitter of Tom Savage. And the ball gets snapped to him, and like you see quarterbacks kind of drop back to like run backwards and then like assess the field. It gets snapped to him, and he literally just slowly walks backwards.
My wife just dropped something and said sorry.
Yeah.
In case you didn't hear, that was my wife. Hi, honey.
But it looks like the most unathletic, uncoordinated thing a football, like a professional in the National Football League could ever do.
That was bad.
It looked real bad. And I mean, everyone must be clamoring for Deshaun Watson. He clearly gives them the best chance to win, especially behind that awful line. Until they bring Dwayne Brown back, they need someone that can escape pressure a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys see J.J. Watt dislocated his, like, I guess, middle finger? Or it was ugly, right?
Awful. Yeah. In the press conference, did you hear what the way he explained it?
He's not a man. He's a machine, man.
They were like, "Oh, is your finger okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I just had a little thing. The bone poked through the skin, but we just popped it back in."
All right.
Yeah, if it's still in my body, then is that what he said? then it's fine. He's ridiculous. I'd be crying. I'd throw up. I'm sure. When I broke my hand, I threw up. The pain.
How did you break your hand?
Oh, dude, it was so stupid. I was basically, it was after a rehearsal too. I just finished playing, guitar for this band, and we were just kind of messing around afterwards and just fooling around. Me and my friend Carlos, he's kind of kicking me, and I'm blocking his kick. He kicks me right in the palm and snaps my third metacarpal.
Wow.
Just right in half.
I was so happy it happened. Because Dan had just told me, he's like, hey, man, I'm super excited. I'm about to go on tour. I said, what?
This band
And
kind of wanted a guitarist.
it was not in a band that him and I had been in together.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah,
that's what happens.
That's what you get.
That's what you get. All right.
I was exploring my options, man. I was a weird kid. I was 20. I was 20 years old. That was 10 years ago, man. It was 10 years ago.
Whatever, bro.
Long story short, when I showed the doctor thought, he's like, you're going to need surgery. He's like, you know what? Let me just take an X-ray of your other hand, see what your other hand looks like. He said, oh, never mind. Your hands are just deformed. You don't need surgery. You'll be in the cast for 2 months.
Oh, never mind. Your hands look dumb.
Yeah, that was the weirdest announcement that he could. That's the weirdest way he could have told
weird.
me. Yeah.
So, I mean, and you didn't have, like, bones sticking out of your, like, J.J. Watt?
No.
Yeah.
It looked nasty. It looked
It's
like
swollen, yeah.
Yeah, like I was throwing gang signs and I couldn't move my fingers.
Really?
Yeah, they were just stuck together like
Whoa.
this.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty
crazy.
painful.
Crazy.
So J.J. Watt.
Well,
But
that ought to tell you what they're on
Just
over
the
there in Houston.
manliness.
But I will
Just
say, with all the injuries to Houston, and despite how bad they got beaten, the Bengals didn't lose because of their defense, because their offense looks like crap. But I will say that does mean the Bengals defense is a really good streaming defense for this week going against
I
Houston.
was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, because they're at Houston. Well, we'll get into it when we get there. Final thing on the news: Eagles signed Jake Elliott.
Yeah, so if that's just if you have Caleb Sturgis, because I know some people really like instead of picking a kicker with like the Patriots and reaching up for a kicker, they'll just try to get a kicker that's on a team that scores a ton of points. The Eagles fit that description. So if you drafted Caleb Sturgis, you'll got to drop him and pick up Jake Elliott, who was drafted by the Bengals and is probably going to turn out to be like a Hall of Fame kicker now, probably with the way they work their organization.
Wow.
All right. Wow. So that's the news, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to week two.
All right.
We need
already.
a drop for week 2. Like we need a drop for the weeks.
Oh, I got some drops ready for this week,
see.
but I don't have a week 2 drop.
We need to do like a week, like boom boom. I don't know.
Boom boom.
Boom. Is that Law and Order that I'm singing?
Definitely the Law and Order. That was the Law and Order theme song.
So that's our drop, by the way.
And then now I just need a solid if you could do it just like a low week 2. I think that was it, huh? That's it. Okay,
That was it.
I'll put it together.
Oh my god, you guys are
good.
well. I guess let's talk about the Thursday night game, Texans versus that team that is
The
probably going to
Bengals.
move.
You can say the Bengals.
Okay,
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about.
Is there going to be anything else on TV that night?
I don't know.
This is going to be
No. This game's going to be bad.
bad.
It's going to be real. You do not want to
Terrible.
watch this game.
So the Texans are starting like their third stringer or their second
No,
stringer.
this is their 4th string tight end.
Oh my god.
From the practice, he got signed from the practice squad today.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Yeah.
they have DeAndre Hopkins. I think Jalen Strong is back because he was dealing with some sort of injury, and they got Braxton Miller.
Yeah.
But like I said, all the other tight ends are out. Dwayne Brown is still in his holdout. Lamar Miller looked okay, but I mean, didn't look anything special.
I think it's hard. When the team is doing so bad, the quarterback plays so bad. What can he do?
These two teams are in very similar situations. They
Yeah.
have very solid defenses. They have some decent pieces on offense. The Bengals have a lot of really good pieces on offense, but their lines are absolutely dreadful. So I think both.
And when the line is dreadful, what happens?
Yeah.
The running game.
You get Andy Dalton turning the ball over 6 times. So equally, start the Houston defense.
Sunday, I was sitting next to Art. Like every time something like Andy Dalton went and fumbled the ball or the turnover or whatever, he's just like, "Of course he did. Of course he turned over the ball."
I wish I could have been there.
After
man.
that first interception, I was like, "This is how this game's gonna go." When you're a fan of that team, even just for as short as I've been, you can tell.
That guy feels 1 ounce of pressure, and he just
folds.
And I think everyone,
like a cheap accordion.
not just him, but all Bengals fans have known that this team was going to have issues on the line. They let 2 Pro Bowl linemen leave and didn't do anything except say, "Hey, these 2 guys we drafted in the first and second round a couple of years ago have played like garbage, but they'll be all right."
Yeah. As far as fantasy goes, who I'm confidently starting, and I think that these 2 guys are going to put on a show. It's going to be Hopkins and AJ Green. I can see it just being a showdown of these wide receivers.
AJ Green has a really nice matchup because they use him kind of all over the field. But based on last week, and I'm getting this information from Mike Clay, I usually use a different source for when I'm looking at my wide receivers of who I'm starting. But AJ Green has a really nice matchup. DeAndre Hopkins, he's going against Adam Jones, who didn't play last week, so there's no information on him. But I think Mike Clay's slotting him to be on the right side of the field. I don't know if they're going to do that. William Jackson III looked really good. If you look at last week's game, I mean, the Ravens didn't throw the ball very much. But aside from that one time in broken coverage where Macklin got out and got that touchdown, like, no one else really did anything at all. The Bengals secondary is really strong. But I do think if anyone will score, it'll be Hopkins.
Yeah. What about with no Cushing's playing? Do you like Eifert this week?
I think Eifert could have a decent game. I think it'll help with the running backs more than anything else.
Yeah, okay.
But that's if, again, it all is going to depend on the line. But one thing I will say, if you looked at the Bengals' schedule, their first 4 games are easily their toughest. They had the Ravens who, regardless of how bad the Bengals played, that Ravens defense is not a joke. I picked them up in a few leagues after I saw how good they were. They're playing the Texans, who obviously usually have a good defense. Because if you think about the points that were scored against them, 14 of those were like the defensive touchdowns of the Jaguars.
Yeah.
It was an offensive
Then
onslaught.
Next week, the Bengals play the Packers at Green Bay.
Who looked amazing
against the Seahawks.
Yeah,
Bengals ain't the Seahawks. So, and I forget who they're playing in week 4, but the first 4 weeks of the season are really difficult.
So what you're saying is they're going to go 0-4.
I think they're going to go 1-3.
Okay.
They're going to win Thursday. They're going to win Thursday.
I like that we're honest about our teams, even though they're our teams.
There's no reason.
I picked the Seahawks to lose last week. I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm the only one that came out winning. We'll talk about that later.
Man.
Whatever.
Shut the heck up.
I will say that I think if Joe Mixon and AJ Green have bad games the next, this week and next, they're absolutely buy lows for me.
Oh yeah.
Because they have, like I said, they have a really soft schedule after week 4. So that's really all I got for this game.
All right. That's Thursday night. Let's go into Sunday early games. First game on the agenda is Bills v. Panthers. What do you guys think of Cam Newton this week?
He looks sloppy.
Yeah.
Looks a little out of football shape.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will say that if you look at a player coming back from injury, a lot of it's just getting back into the momentum of football, and also like with the actual threat of being hit. Same thing goes for like running backs coming off of ACL tears or Achilles tendon ruptures. But for a quarterback who had shoulder surgery, it's all about getting the throwing motion back, and also that hesitation you have when you know you're about to get sacked and you're going to land on that shoulder.
Yeah, it's a mental thing. Well, I mean, a couple years ago, you saw Robert Griffin come back from that, and he just didn't come back the same player. What was it that he had? What was wrong with him?
The rotator cuff?
No. First, he tore his ACL, or remember it was in that. It was in that playoff game.
Yeah.
With I forgot who they were playing against.
Like 3 years ago, right?
It was probably 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was his rookie year, and then he tore something in his knee, and he still played that game out.
It's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And then he finally came back the next year, did not look good at all. And I think in the middle of that season is when he dislocated his ankle out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He just landed funny, dislocated, and that's when they handed the team over to Kirk Cousins.
So is that a legitimate question to ask about Cam Newton?
I mean, potentially. I mean, anytime you're having a surgery on like that's what he does is throw the ball. And so I think he looked good enough that it's more like rust than anything else. I still trust Cam Newton. Like if you have him, like you're still starting him.
Oh yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it's a good matchup too. You know, what is it? Both. Neither one. I mean, I think the Buffalo cornerbacks played better than expected. You know, they brought in EJ Gaines, I think, from the Rams, and he played pretty well. But consider who they played against last week. It was the Jets.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like none of those guys look particularly fantastic. So keeping that in mind, I think the Panthers have like a pretty. I mean, they had a good game against a bad team last week. I think they have another one this week.
Who do you guys pick up?
What do you mean? Pick to win?
Yeah, no, I'm just asking like if there's a player on the waiver wire or something.
Oh,
I don't.
I'm
between
getting,
those two teams, I think like Mike's. Like, why did I call you Mike?
What? Man, what am I doing here? If you're not even getting my name right, let me just go. I'm sleepy, you know.
It's late.
It's
10.
Like Dan was saying, Mike Tolbert looks like someone to pick up just because of how much he's being used.
Yeah.
Zay Jones looked okay. One, I guess on the Bills, I like Charles Clay.
Love Charles Clay.
He looks like Tyrod Taylor's like, hey man, you're the only one left.
It's just you and me, buddy.
Like we've been playing together for 2 years now. Like let's keep this going.
And he is a beast.
Yeah.
Man. He's a monster of a man in the red zone.
But
you can almost guarantee a touchdown for him every game.
I think he's having a really nice season. And on the other side of the ball, I think Cam could have a nice game. I mean, I think they're playing at home. Yes, they're playing at home. And, you know, Kelvin Benjamin and Devin Funchess did not have a good game last week.
Yeah, not at all.
But I think a lot of that was just game script. Again, there, you know, I hear that San Francisco's a tough place to play at. And it was just a really sloppy game in general. But I think they could turn that around this week.
All right, that's the Bills versus the Panthers. Let's move on.
Hey, I want to start taking out like who do we pick for the game?
Okay.
Because I just want to see.
Well,
I didn't do it last week.
We didn't do it last week. So
Yeah.
I asked for a couple of games, like the more important games. But
Yeah,
let's pick.
Bengals and Texans. I picked the Bengals for sure. I think they pull it
Yeah,
out.
I think they'll just they got to.
I'm gonna be the guy.
All right.
I'm gonna go with the Texans.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna write this down. All right.
All right.
All right, write it down. Write it down because we're gonna talk about it next week. So Bills Panthers. Who do you guys got?
I got Panthers.
Panthers.
I think I'm going to go with the Panthers too. All right, let's move on to second game Sunday early. A team that I'm really looking forward to seeing, the Bears versus the Buccaneers. I really want to see what this Buccaneers team looks like.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm really excited about
They really
this
look
team.
like they could be something special.
I'll tell you what, the Bears surprised me against Atlanta. What
Tariq?
happened there?
Mother.
Damn.
He looks like he's something special.
I mean, my goodness.
I saw analysts going back and forth of like he's just a specialty player. Don't go crazy. Don't spend all your money trying to get him, or don't try to use your number one waiver priority.
Come on.
He looks amazing.
The analysts talk about the eye test.
I get it.
Yeah.
It was against the Falcons, and they are all last season. They were bad against running backs, specifically receiving running backs. Mm-hmm. But just from the eye test, there was one carry where he cuts to the left, and there are either you take a still shot. There are 3 Falcons guys right in front of him.
Should have been for like a negative
And
yardage.
he turned into like a 27-yard run.
Wow.
That's a special player.
He was my number one waiver priority. Like I said, won 5 out of 6 leagues. The 6th league I didn't get. I didn't get Kareem Hunt, and I didn't start Stephon Diggs. Mm-hmm. I lost bad. I had the number one waiver priority. I got Tariq Cohen. I think he's going to be something special.
And guess who popped up on the injury report today?
Saw that. Jordan Howard with a shoulder injury.
So if you got Tariq Cohen.
Not just that. Kevin White, poor Kevin White. He was a first-round draft pick 3 years ago for the Bears.
This is awful.
Has gotten hurt first game or in the preseason every year.
He
Just broke his collarbone. Like he may be a first-round pick that never really gets going in the NFL. But that said, that means they're down to Kendall Wright,
Zach Miller.
They have Bellamy. And
I'm just agreeing with that. I don't know. Let me check.
His last name's Bellamy.
Okay.
And they just brought up a guy from their practice squad named Tanner Gentry.
That's a name.
Yeah, Gentry.
Gentry?
I think it's Gentry.
Gentry.
Gentry. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be the Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen show. Mm-hmm. That's going to be their offense because that's all they got. So I like him.
Yeah.
Even I think the thing that worries me is I think the Buccaneers are going to have a really solid defense.
Oh yes.
They've made some really nice draft choices. Quan Alexander's a really solid linebacker. Then they went after the Broncos for some stupid reason, let go of T.J. Ward. They signed T.J. Ward to be their starting safety. Could be a really tough matchup, but I think Tariq Cohen could still have a really nice game, especially if Jordan Howard's out.
Yeah. Can you
top 20 running back this week?
Yep.
And on the Buccaneer side, nothing from the Bears scared me. I mean, they were able to hold Julio Jones, keep him in check. But I'm still starting. I'm starting Deshaun. I'm starting Mike Evans. I think Winston's going to have a really nice game. I think the Bears just lost one of their starting their left side linebacker for the season. So I'm starting everybody.
I think Rodgers is my RB too.
Jacquizz Rodgers is a really nice start. This is one of his 3 games he gets to start.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind the Buccaneers defense. Like I said, it's a risky move because you have no idea how good or bad they're going to play together. But against Mike Glennon, I think it's a good start.
I think so.
And then I started Atlanta last week, and what happened? Man,
I know.
Jeez, it looked good on paper.
It did. And
good on paper.
The Bears they played tough.
I was impressed that it went down to the wire.
Down to the wire.
Yeah.
Down to the wire. Although, that Atlanta D gave them the game. I don't know how that isn't like a major fantasy point. Like they won that game for them.
Yeah.
Like a walk-off home run.
Yeah,
it should be like 10 points.
It should be like 10 points. Like you sacked the quarterback on the game-winning play. Yes.
You get an extra 5 points.
Yeah.
So Roxanne lost to me in one league that we're in together. Oh, in the Grandma League.
Yeah.
But one of her players was on the winning team, and so she tells me, "This is so stupid. The player on the winning team should get at least 5 bonus points if you're on the winning team."
She's trying to find points so she can win. That's awesome, man. So who do we got? Who do we got in this?
Buccaneers.
Buccaneers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, all three of us got the Buccaneers. Let's move on. Vikings versus Steelers. The Vikings look for reals, yo.
Man.
Oh my God.
This is going to be a crazy game.
Who could have guessed Stephon Diggs? I was telling you earlier today. Who starts Stephon Diggs?
I think he was a lot of...
This guy.
This guy right here.
I mean, he was a lot of people's wide receiver too, right? I mean, he's up there. He's up there. Last year, he was something.
In my last 3 drafts that I did before the season started, I noticed this trend that running back got real rough real quick. Mm-hmm. So more often than not, I was going for a wide receiver in the first round, and then I was just loading up on at least 3 solid running backs, and then I was getting a Stephon Diggs. And those are the leagues where I'm doing well. I mean, it's 1 week, but still, that's where my team looks more balanced because he's playing people are comparing him to Odell and Antonio Brown.
Brown.
Some of those plays he made were ridiculous.
The speed that he has. Now that he's on the outside too, he changed position.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then it's not just him because then you have Adam Thielen that you have to worry about.
Right.
And
in
Kyle
the slot.
Rudolph.
Oh my gosh.
And the running back, Dalvin Cook looked like something special. I mean, he had a few moments where he looked like he was hitting brick walls. Other times he looked amazing. And then Jerick McKinnon, who I've loved since he entered the league, even he looked really good. I mean, like I said, if I was the Cardinals, I would have been knocking on the Vikings door what do you need for me to get this guy from you?
What do you need?
But
your firstborn?
Yeah,
I'll give you my firstborn.
Yeah. Steelers, I think if you weren't Antonio Brown, you didn't have or Jesse James, which I don't think anybody started.
Don't even say it.
You didn't have a good week, but
Nope.
Le'Veon Bell just murdered me, man, in the league. Oh,
I was gonna say, and there's no but. I think this is also going to be a really tough week for them. Now, granted, the Steelers play more specifically, Big Ben plays much better at home.
Yeah.
But that Vikings defense is for real. They have a really good secondary. Their front seven's really solid. So this is going to probably be the funnest game of the week.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if to me it feels like it's either going to be super low scoring 14-13 or it's going to be 42 to 35.
Yeah.
It just depends. Yeah, it just depends on what happens. All right, let's.
I think this is going to be a great daily fantasy game.
Yeah,
This one right here.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody in here.
Everybody.
Just everybody.
But I have no idea who to pick to win. I want to lean towards Steelers because they're at home.
Yeah.
And because I'm sure they're just thirsty for that. They're starving for that win.
Because they're both coming off of wins.
Yep.
Away.
away
No,
from home.
Steelers.
no.
The Steelers. Oh, yeah, Steelers won too. That's right.
Yeah, the
barely.
Steelers won. Yeah.
But no, the Vikings played at home. But yeah, that's gonna be
So,
tough. I'm
who do
gonna
you got?
go. I'm just because I can't pick the Steelers. Anymore. I'm gonna pick the Vikings.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go against you, and I'm gonna go with the Steelers because I like me some Antonio Brown.
And you know who I need, man? I need Martavis Bryant to just blow up. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm hoping happens. I'm hoping they just forget about Martavis. Didn't do anything last week. 3 touchdowns. Please.
3.
So
Please.
you're picking the Steelers.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right, let's move on to the next game. Cardinals v. Colts.
This is the exact opposite of this game.
Jeez.
It's going to be like 10 to
I'm not starting.
6.
It's going to be negative.
Yeah. It's going to be like 10 to 6 or 9 to... It's going to be some ridiculous like field
9 to
goal.
5.
Yeah. Like a field goal and a field goal and a
Safety.
safety or something. Yeah.
I'm not starting any Colt at all.
No.
If you have T.Y. Hilton, you find somebody else.
You done drop him.
Don't drop T.Y.
Well,
Hilton.
don't drop him. Just put him on your bench.
Yeah, drop him to your bench.
Drop him. Drop him to the bench.
But
There should be a drop for that.
Jump into the bench.
No, I know, but you should come up with one.
I should.
don't be lazy.
Like a little whistle. Just.
Yeah. Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll work on it.
Or it'll be 2 of them. Like one where like drop him completely, and it's like the. And then,
Boom.
but if it's just dropping to the bench, it's like woo. And then
That ought to tell you what we think about this game. We're not even talking about it.
it's so bad.
Let's move.
Cardinals, on the other hand, there are some good matchups available. All right, let me look at here. John Brown has a really nice matchup this week. He's going to go against T.J. Green because, again, Vontae Davis is out.
Oh, yeah?
And T.J. Green actually started as a free safety at the beginning of the season. They're like, hey, we're moving you to cornerback. So I would be just fine starting John Brown against the Colts.
I like it.
And I think Fitzgerald should have a pretty good game too. But outside of that, I mean, if you're real gutty and you picked up Curran Williams, there's no better week to use him than this week. I mean, you saw Todd Gurley, even when the Colts were clearly trying to stop Todd Gurley, and he was still, finding ways, whether it was through the air or on the ground. He was still doing
He didn't
really
even do that well on the ground and just through the air.
Through the air.
Yeah.
So it's not a fantastic matchup for Kerwin Williams, but if you picked him up, there literally is no better week to use him than this one.
I like him.
Who do we got?
Cardinals.
Yeah, I guess. I don't forget about it.
I think Jacoby, so that's another thing we didn't put on here. I'm pretty sure they haven't announced it, but I'm almost 90% sure it's going to be Jacoby Brissett starting.
Has to be.
That gives them a little bit of an edge.
A little.
Like if Brissett's starting, I feel a little bit better about possibly starting T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah?
But
little.
I probably want to see it before I start anybody.
As soon as because I have Deshaun Jackson of the Buccaneers, as soon as they said, okay, they're playing week 2, I was like, drop T.Y. Hilton, put Deshaun Jackson there, done.
I like
That's my
it.
number 2.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Cardinals going to win this game.
Daniel?
I guess so. I guess Cardinals. I guess Cardinals.
I don't
very
know.
indecisive.
I don't know
I'm
what to think.
indecisive
Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
kind of
Yeah,
the same way. I'm just going to be a dark horse and call the Colts and see what happens.
You're something else.
I know.
Dumb.
Sometimes I am dumb.
Dumb.
Sometimes I am dumb.
Now
But
this
sometimes I end up being right. So how about that?
I'm trying to type your name into this, and it keeps autocorrecting to Ferns.
Ferns?
Can you just
I
call
like
you
it.
Ferns
I
now?
like
That's it. All right, you can do that. The next game, I'm excited about this game.
Okay, I lied. This might be the game of the week.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Only because I think the Patriots are just going to destroy.
Them alive.
It's going to be ugly.
It's going to be like, nom.
This might be the highest scoring NFL game combined, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
Ever.
I mean, if both defenses play like they played in week 1, I mean,
Everybody's going to score. You get a touchdown. And you get a touchdown.
Yeah,
and you get a touchdown.
and even on in terms of like like cornerback matchups, Brandon Cooks has a really good matchup. Chris Hogan has a really good matchup. I don't think Amendola is going to play this game. Which
he was out with something, right?
with concussion.
Uncle Danny. Come on,
Uncle,
man.
Uncle Danny.
Get it right.
I think Uncle Danny's going to be out, but
Poor guy.
I think they'll be starting Philip Dorsett in his place. But I'm all about Brandon Cooks, Chris Hogan. We saw what is it? We saw Kyle Rudolph get a touchdown against the Saints, so I'm all about Gronk. I just think it's going to be a bounce back spot for the entire Patriots offense.
Absolutely.
I think I agree with that very much.
Now, on the other side of the ball, I think Ted Ginn could still have a really nice game. Who else? And I like Brandon Coleman. Michael Thomas has a really hard matchup with Malcolm Butler. Mm-hmm. I think that could open things up for Kobe Fleener.
Yeah, again.
And I don't care what anybody says. I have a feeling that Sean Payton's going to use the hell out of Alvin Kamara all season long.
He looks awesome. He really does.
That was another team where if I'm the Cardinals, I'd be asking like, how much do you want from Mark Ingram?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems.
They seem like they haven't quite figured out how to use these two.
It seriously feels like he's just like, well, who do I want to throw in there? Go ahead, let's see how you do. Where there's usually like a rhyme or reason to it. They just felt like there was no, like they'd get close to the goal line, and they had Kamara in there. I'm like, come on now.
Did you see that video of Adrian Peterson staring down Sean Payton? It's like a stare down,
and he yelled something at him, and it wasn't until the guy turned around.
Wow.
Whew.
Wow.
If Adrian Peterson yelled at me like that, I say, "Hey, you do whatever you want. Go out there. Go.
You want to play quarterback?
I'm sorry. Whatever you want.
Drew, get out. Come here. Hey, Adrian's gonna go play.
Adrian wants it.
So, but yeah, I think it's hard for me to trust any of those running backs right now. But I kind of like Alvin Kamara as like a sleeper. Because even though Mark Ingram had, Adrian Peterson's not a receiving running back. He is a power back. Mark Ingram has shown the ability to do both. But Alvin Kamara definitely has like the ability to really be a solid receiving running back. And when you're playing against the Patriots, that's all you're going to be doing is passing.
I love it. Running backs, real quick. We skipped over it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Are you starting Gillislee, White, both?
What did happen to you guys last week with Gillislee? What happened to you last week?
You know what happened is he was on my damn bench.
Yeah, and what happened?
And he scored an amazing amount of points.
He scored like 2 touchdowns, right?
Now, granted, he has the ability to do that often because any time like with Brandon Cooks, twice he got pass interference calls that got them in the 1 or 2 yard line, so they bring in Gillislee. If he catches that ball and scores a touchdown, Gillislee has 5-6 carries for 15, 20, 30 yards, and that's his game.
Yeah. He only had 40 yards and 45 yards. He didn't really do that much.
That was it. And then he got 3 touchdowns.
3.
I mean, that is the definition of touchdown dependence. Wow. So in passing situations, they like James White.
Yeah.
And I still haven't dropped Rex Burkhead. I still think he is a super talented running back. So I think there's going to be times where they're going to use all 3 of them. I mean, it's so hard for me to decide. I mean, in fantasy, you're always going for the highest upside. And right now, given what happened in week 1, Gillislee's like the guy with the highest upside.
Yeah.
James White still got 10 carries.
Yeah.
To Gillislee's 15.
Yeah.
Caught 3 passes.
He's still going to be used a lot.
I really like White a lot. Dropped Deion Lewis,
I think
obviously.
in PPR, James White's the man.
Yeah, I think so too.
Deion Lewis is another guy that I think should have gotten a phone call.
Right?
Hey, we're the Cardinals.
What's up?
What are you doing?
What's up, girl?
How you doing?
What are you
wearing right now?
Yeah.
You want to be wearing red?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Come on, man. All right, who do we got?
We need to be that guy. We need to be just the call guy. Like, hey, how you doing, man? How you doing, Deion?
Yeah, I mean,
you do anything Sunday? You busy?
You didn't even touch the ball once. You want to go somewhere where they've got plenty of carries to go around?
Arizona's warm, New England's cold. Come on.
So who do we got in this game? Art.
Patriots bounce back and win.
All right.
Patriots.
Patriots.
I got the Pats.
Nice.
In this one because I just don't trust the Saints, even though Drew Brees is my guy.
Oh, I think Drew Brees, though, however, has an insane amount of yards. Yeah. They're at home.
And then we saw what Alex Smith did to him. Could be a good game.
He'll be my DraftKings quarterback for sure this week.
So let's move on. Browns versus Ravens. I was impressed with the Cleveland Browns this week.
Deshaun Kaiser, he looks like he could be legit. Mm-hmm. He's definitely still rough around the edges. He's a rookie, so that's to be expected. But he had some chemistry with Corey Coleman.
Yeah?
He was finding the hell out of his tight ends, who both look like really good tight ends.
Yeah.
Seth DeValve and David Njoku. Whew.
Some crazy talent on that team.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Kenny Britt, too. And there's a possibility. I saw an article today that Josh Gordon just finished his rehab program and is applying to get reinstated.
Don't. My heart just fluttered a little bit. Don't say that name.
It sounds like the Browns are already tired of him, but I mean, with someone that special, I mean, if he gets reinstated, why would they not keep him?
Do you remember Josh Gordon? Did you?
No.
Oh my goodness, man! No. That guy could just cut up a field.
So for for those of you who don't remember Josh Gordon, I think it was 5-6 years ago.
No, was it that long?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So there's the regular draft, and then a little bit later they have a supplemental draft. The Browns used like a second-round pick or something on him. He was suspended for 2 games. Or no. He played that year, but used sparingly. But he had like... That was one of the years that Cleveland had like 4... One of many years they had like 4 different starting quarterbacks. And he looked okay. Then he got popped for either weed or something. He got suspended for, was it 4 games?
Only 4. It's like an Odell kind of situation.
Didn't play for 4 games.
Yeah.
Shows up. Go with the same situation, had like 3 different quarterbacks, had like 1,200 yards.
It's like the number 1 receiver that year. Missing, it was either 2 or 4 games. He was about to have, like, everyone was drafting him high or was going to draft him high the next season. Gets popped again and gets suspended for the whole season. Or no, it was going to be, it was 10 games or 8 games. And so people still drafted him, hoping that after those 8 games he would play. He had an okay season to finish up that season. Then part of the program was that he had to stay away from alcohol and drugs forever, but alcohol until the end of the season. So at the end of that season, they finish week 16 or week 17. He gets on the flight, has a beer, he lands, they say, hey, here's your drug test.
No.
Because it was the end of the season, like after the Super Bowl.
Wow. Man.
And he didn't know that. So then he just got kicked out of the NFL.
Wow.
So he's been out for a year now, and he's just finished his rehab program, and they're saying he's applying to be to get reinstated. But if he gets back in there, I mean, that Browns defense or team looks totally different. And think about this: the Browns, regardless of how good or bad they are this year, and after what we saw in Week 1, has Houston's first and second round pick next year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
If Houston keeps going the way they're going, they could have a top 5 pick in addition to whatever else they have.
Wow.
For the Browns.
Man.
That's something.
Yeah.
That is something.
But yeah, for this game, the only Brown I probably feel confident starting is Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah.
I mean, that Ravens defense looks serious.
Awesome.
Legit.
Oh yeah.
Too legit, too quick.
The only
Hey.
Don't do that again.
I like me some music.
Yeah, you are.
So you get a mic in front of you, you want to sing.
Why didn't
what
we
did
ever
you sing,
do
the
like
Dr. song last week?
I got that drop ready. Yeah.
Oh,
that's what. Just tell me right when we're there. Just tell me when to
Oh
drop
my
it.
god.
Why don't we do like a Phil Collins type thing with you, man, in the band? We should have put a mic on you.
When I was like early 6 under par, when we were a cover band, I sang a couple Green Day songs. Before that, when I was in a cover band called That Damn Parrot, that's what the name of the band was called That Damn Parrot.
I love it.
I sang a couple songs. I sang a couple Dave Matthews songs.
Dave Matthews?
Yeah, I sang
Tell me
a
it was
couple.
Crash. Sing to me, sing Crash to me.
It wasn't Crash.
Ants
it was
Marching.
Ants Marching. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good jam.
Yeah, Ants Marching.
Okay.
It was Ants Marching, and then in 6 under par, I used to sing Green Day songs and a No Effects song.
Was it Paradise? Did you have like the drums going?
Yeah,
Boom,
it was.
boom.
Yeah. It was Welcome to Paradise.
Bite my lip and close my eyes.
Yeah.
I love it.
It was
I love
that.
it.
It was that and She. Do you guys remember She?
Oh, I remember She.
Yeah. I used to sing that too. and I sang a No Effects song, and that was about it. And then I was like, no, I want to concentrate on playing drums.
Are there
and
recordings
not
of
really
this?
Somewhere.
Oh,
I'm sure there is. I'm sure
Please.
there's a recording out there
Please.
somewhere.
gotta hear this.
Because we used to play in the gym and in the cafeteria. That's how we got started. Man.
So cool.
All right, that's a
You talking about
tangent.
the damn Browns and the Ravens already?
I got lost.
Yeah. I'm sorry. You guys found out way
picking
too
the
much
Ravens.
about me.
Damn,
Corey Coleman has a good matchup. That's the only guy.
Yeah.
So Corey Coleman, if you're desperate, Isaiah Crowell on the Ravens side of the ball. I like nobody except for Terrence West and Buck Allen. I mean, if you drafted Jeremy Maclin or Mike Wallace, you didn't draft them to be your starter. And actually, the Cleveland, you saw aside from what's his name, Antonio Brown, like Martavis Bryant didn't do very well.
Yeah.
One of these Browns tight ends could do well because you saw what Jesse James was able to do to Cleveland, but I don't know which one of those. I mean, they're using both of those guys equally, so I don't know which one you would start.
Huh.
All right.
And Ravens defense, you're playing those. They're at
Definitely.
home.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
They might
It's
be
a
an every
rookie.
week kind of play for me.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So who do you got?
Ravens easy.
Yeah, me too.
So let's talk about the Eagles versus the Chiefs. I want to see what this Eagles team is all about because they're in my division, and I'm curious to see how these Chiefs play in week 2.
I have no idea who to pick in this game. I feel like both good defenses, both amazing offenses.
Well, the Eagles just lost, so they traded with the Bills before the season and got Ronald Darby, who's a really good cornerback. He dislocated his ankle. It looked bad.
Ouch.
So he's out. I think they said 4 to 6 weeks. That doesn't leave a whole lot. That's easily the weak spot for the Eagles defense. So,
Okay.
I mean, my start of the week, we'll get into it later, but they're at home. I love Alex Smith and Tyreek Hill in this game. I think they're going to have another awesome game together.
All right. I love it.
And of course, I mean, the man. You were starting Kareem Hunt.
My man.
I like Kelsey in this game.
I hope so. He needs a little bounce back.
On the Eagles side of the ball, you're still starting, Zach Ertz had a really nice game. Carson Wentz looks for real.
Carson
that one
Wentz
game,
looks
that one pass
For
where
real.
the reason why Nelson Aguilar got open is because Carson Wentz did some sort of trickery. He
Dude,
should
it was
have
like some sorcery. Yeah, he should have been sacked.
He
Yeah.
just turned around and spun around, got open, and Nelson. I guess the cornerbacks got tired and winded from running around, and Aguilar was just like, "Hey,
I'm
wide
right
open.
here. Right here.
60 yards down the field, just toss that thing over."
I thought, because it was like a third and 8.
It was crazy.
And I thought, that's it. He's going down, and Washington's going to get the ball at like the 30 or the 40, and they're going to score. And that is not what happened at
Wow.
all. Actually, you were wrong about the Redskins.
Was I?
last week?
Did I pick Redskins last week?
Yes, you did.
Eesh.
And you were wrong.
I wasn't thinking.
Fail.
I think. I think Carson Wentz is still a good start, especially because we saw that Eric Berry got hurt, the safety for the Chiefs.
Yeah, man. I was thinking the
So
same
I think
thing.
he's the one that shut down Gronk in last week's game. So I like Zach Ertz a lot in this one.
Okay.
And if you're starting, I think Alshon Jeffrey he might struggle. He might get Marcus Peters.
Which was going to bring me to
Say it.
Torrey Smith. I forgot who I was listening to. It must have been Matthew Berry, but he was talking about how his 3 targets were all downfield shots, and so he just they have plays in the playbook just for him. Go all
on the
downfield.
first, I think it was the first play,
Deep ball.
deep ball to Torrey Smith. And it was just placed in the wrong place.
and they're going to be down. I mean, if the Chiefs play
I
anywhere
think it's
close,
a high scoring game.
yeah.
And so I like Nelson. I just like everybody in this game except for the Philadelphia running backs because I still don't know what the hell they're doing there. That's an other team.
Nope.
They should be cutting LeGarrette Blount and calling
Yeah,
Mark Ingram for
Somebody else.
Jarek McKinney.
Was it the second pass of his career, right? Second
Of
passing
his-
touchdown.
of his career. He's been in the league for like 10 years.
Darren Sproles must have been just like, what am I here
what
for?
the hell, man?
What am I doing here?
So yeah, I'm not starting any of their running backs, but I like everybody else in this game.
All right, who do you guys got?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs at home.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Chiefs too.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Let's move
That's
on.
what I told my friend.
Final game of the early games, Titans versus Jaguars. I know nothing about either one of these two teams.
Really?
So,
Yeah.
Titans looked a little rusty. The person who really surprised me is Corey Davis. He was on a limited, we talked about how like Coach said he wasn't on the snap count, but he kind of was on the snap count. I like him in this game. Mm-hmm. Outside of that, I think the only other person I might be starting would be Delaney Walker. Running backs. This Jaguar defense looks
I was
serious.
just going to say, we're in a world now where we're talking about the Jaguars defense.
They legit look like they can do we're just going to beat you on defense, and all we got to do is need Leonard Fournette to run this ball.
That's it. It's amazing.
Although Leonard Fournette was like on the $1 billion start this or whatever, the $1 billion lineup.
He got the
I
ball
want it.
22 times before the first half was over.
Dude, he looks amazing.
So those are, you're gonna, if you drafted Mariota and don't have a backup, I would potentially look for someone else. But you saw like this past week, his passing wasn't great, but he got the rushing touchdown, which saved his value. So there's still that possibility going against the Jaguars. On the Jaguar side of the ball, at this point, I think Fournette's the only one I'm starting. Allen Robinson's done for the year. That moves up Allen Hurns and Marquise Lee. But I don't think either of them are worth starting, just given the way that offense is running. It's literally running. That's all they're doing is running.
It. Yeah.
So until they're passing the ball more, there's no reason to start anybody. There's no one for me that's startable on the offense aside from Leonard Fournette.
And Ivory, is still working. He does all right.
Yeah.
No, is it Ivory? Was it Yeldon? Who was it behind him?
Ivory.
Yeah, Ivory still looks good.
Yeah.
The team runs well.
Yeah.
All right, who do you guys got?
This is tough, man.
It's tough.
On offense, I love the way the Titans are built.
Me too.
But they look like they are still trying to figure things out. They did not look as crisp as they did last season or even in the preseason. So this is nuts, but I'm going to pick the Jaguars.
All right. How about you, buddy?
I'm going to pick the Titans only because, without Allen Robinson, I cannot see Blake Bortles doing anything this week. I just have no faith in him. I have no confidence that they'll score even 1 point, man.
I think they're just going to keep doing the same thing where it's just going to be like a bunch of dump offs to slant routes.
And see, I think defenses have to know that, especially after his coach, who's the Jags coach, comes out and says, I want Blake Bortles to throw it literally zero times.
0 times.
Wow. 0 times in the game.
Wow.
I think they're going to make him throw it, and I think it'll eventually be just like a quarterback versus quarterback kind of thing, and I think Marcus Mariota wins out.
I like the Titans just because I like Marcus Mariota. That's all there is to it. I don't know anything about either one of those teams. I honestly could care less about either one of those teams.
That's not very nice.
I know that's not nice.
It's not.
I'm
Jaguars
sure
might be Super Bowl winners.
Yeah, they could be.
Defense.
I don't care.
Defense wins games.
I don't care.
That's it.
Bro.
Look at your.
I was just going to say, it sounds like someone who's bitter because their team doesn't have a defense.
¿Sabes qué? We're going to talk about it. All right.
Don't let the Giants a bad offense fool you.
That's true.
God.
You beat the Giants without Odell Beckham. Congratulations.
¿Sabes qué, bro? I was the only one that was right. We're going to move on. Anyway, let's talk about the Sunday afternoon games, and let's talk about that first game, the Jets versus the Raiders. Obviously, the Raiders are going to win.
Yes.
Period. End of story.
Yeah.
Although the Jets surprised us a little this week.
They kept things close for a while.
Yeah.
I like Michael Crabtree in this game. Mm-hmm. I like Amari Cooper in this game.
Give me all the Amari Coopers, man.
I like Derek Carr. I like you starting all your Raiders against this team.
All of them.
Granted, the front seven of the Jets is still pretty good. That's basically what's keeping them in the games. But you saw what LaShawn McCoy just did.
Dude.
Charles Clay,
And then when the coach comes out and says you were going to ease Marshawn back into it, and to me, I'm thinking he can do more than that in a game. He already did.
he only had 70 yards, but he was trucking through fools.
Dude.
Trucking through food.
When he ran over that
Dude.
I thought, I got little.
God bless you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Rest in peace, man.
So, this is pretty easy. Let's go ahead and just ask away who you guys got.
Oh, the Raiders.
Are
we even going to talk about the Jets? I'm not starting
Raiders.
Start
The Raiders defense. They're the stream of the week.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And for the Jets, if you're starting anybody at all, it's Bilal Powell, and even them, they were splitting those carries almost down the middle, and they didn't give them very many carries at all. There's literally if you were forcing me, like you have to start somebody from the Jets, it's Jermaine Kearse, and that's it.
That I was just about to say.
He had a
Jermaine
nice
Kearse.
game. I mean, not nice in PPR, but that's about it. He is the only one I would consider, but that's it.
That's it.
So yeah, Raiders gonna win that.
Raiders going to win that. Let's move on. Dolphins versus the Chargers. This is kind of a toss-up, isn't it?
It depends. We haven't seen anything out of the Dolphins just yet. You know, I think there's some people that rag on Jay Cutler, but his best season ever was when he had Adam Gase as his offensive coordinator in Chicago.
Yeah.
In 2015, and he's got him again. And now, basically, he had an extra week with no preseason game to worry about to just get more acclimated to this offense.
Yeah.
He has a really talented receiving core with Devontae Parker, Jarvis Landry, and Kenny Stills. They got Julius Thomas now.
Yeah.
It's all about that line if it holds up. And they got a really good running back in Jay Ajayi. I mean, these teams are both loaded in terms of offensive weapons. I like Phillip Rivers, obviously, in terms of talent, better than Jay Cutler. And I will say the Chargers' defense is going to make the difference in this game because the Dolphins don't have much at corner. And the Chargers, even in a game last week or this past Monday when they lost to the Broncos, still put up 8 fantasy points just because how much with Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram getting to the quarterback. I mean,
they looked good.
Yeah.
They looked really. I thought they were going to win that game.
Yeah. I mean, they technically did until they iced the kicker.
Bro.
I hate that, man. I hate icing the kicker.
You know what? I think there should be a rule against it.
Right? Let the dude kick.
Just let the guy kick.
Now, granted, they really didn't ice him, but it really I saw someone that made this comment like, you're not technically icing the kicker, but you are not really showing how you're fully going to really try to block this kick. You're going to let them kick, and the offensive line is going to say, oh, okay, that's what they're going to do. Because sure enough, on that second one, they just blew past
right
the
down
offense
the
line.
middle.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict anything else because we haven't seen the Dolphins play, but at this point I would confidently start all my Chargers. I like Tyrell Williams, I like Keenan Allen, I like Phillip Rivers, I like Melvin Gordon. He has a tough matchup because anytime you got Ndamukong Suh you got to worry about, it's tough.
Yeah. Stepping
on the other side of the ball, Jay Cutler might have a tough time because Jason Verrett, Casey Hayward, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. I mean that tandem is pretty solid on defense, but I like Kenny Stills in this game a lot.
Really?
I mentioned this in the preseason because that means Jason Verrett's going to be on Devontae Parker. You potentially have Casey Hayward on Jarvis Landry just because they might follow them based on name recognition. And Jay Cutler's not afraid to throw the ball deep. And I think that's right up Kenny Stills' wheelhouse. So in terms of a sleeper for this week, I really like Kenny Stills.
Wow. Right. I like it.
Who you guys got?
I'm going to go with the Chargers.
Me too.
I'm going to go with the Chargers. All right. That is the Dolphins versus the Chargers. Bro. Prendele la vela, bro.
There we go.
Prendele la. Okay, first of all, I have a question. Hold on.
It's going to be like a horse just stepping on a cowboy.
I have a question for you, and then I have a question for you. What happened to your team last week?
Oh, they got beaten.
What happened to your team last week?
Seahawks always start off slow until
No. That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you.
They started off a little slow. That's what happened.
Daniel James, what did I ask you?
All right, Christmas time when they were about to win the championship.
Daniel James, what did I just ask you, bro?
My team done lost to Aaron Rodgers.
No,
your team beat.
Just say, bro. Just sabes qué, bro. Just say prendele la vela, bro.
Your team beat
sabes
like
qué?
a pile
Puros
of
Cowboys. Woo! Puros Cowboys. Woo!
There goes my mic. What am I gonna EQ this for?
It's insufferable.
I love you too, guys. Hey, listen, you know what? Okay, truth be told, now that I'm done. I'm not going to say anything. Truth be told, the Cowboys still have me worried.
Do they?
Because that defense just looks so suspect, and you put Odell Beckham Jr. in that game, it doesn't turn out that way. It just does not turn out that way.
As crazy as it sounds, I think it's a little bit closer. But you know what, though, man? I'm really not worried about them. That offense. Dak seems solid. To be...
He's a man.
I will say that.
Proof.
I will say that. Prendele la vela on Dak Prescott.
Oh, my gosh. They talk about second-year slumps, right? Second year
Why
just
are you
kind of
nodding your head, man? Why are you nodding your head?
I could never hear that phrase again. It'd be too soon.
What What did I do on Thursday night? What did I do on Sunday night when it was all over?
You sent us candles.
Yeah, I sent you candles.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually buy you guys some candles. This is gonna be
Only if
awesome.
it has a Virgin Mary on it. Those are the
Dude, I'm gonna buy a candle
So
that has the Dallas Cowboy star on one side and the Virgen of
Virgen.
Guadalupe.
It's going to be like a 2-hour podcast, and literally, it's going to be the three of us listen to it, and that's it, because we're talking about nonsense.
All right, let's talk about the Cowboys versus the Broncos. Trevor Siemian looked pretty good.
I mean, he didn't have a lot of production in terms of yardage, but I mean, he threw for 2 touchdowns. Didn't he run for a touchdown?
Yeah.
He
tried to run for 2.
Very impressed with how well he moved the team down the field.
Yeah.
The people I am worried about long term in terms of the season are Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. I think only one of them is going to be productive per game. He does not. They don't throw the ball enough for either of them to have equally. It's not like a Peyton Manning offense anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
plus C.J. Anderson and Jamal Charles look really good. So I think it's
C.J. Anderson looked like old C.J. Anderson.
Dude,
he looked really good.
He looked awesome.
But I will say, now granted, Paul Perkins is not C.J. Anderson, but Dallas's defense, their defense, their front seven is their strength.
Yeah.
So C.J. Anderson, I'm still a little worried about.
Yeah.
But the cornerbacks aren't very good for the Cowboys. So I like.
Throw passes.
Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders in this game.
Yeah, you throw passes against this team. Period.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know who their tight end is. A few of them got a fair shake. I still really like AJ Derby. But yeah, I mean, there's still no one to start there. It's Demaryius Thomas, it's Emmanuel Sanders, it's C.J. Anderson. If you're desperate at quarterback, I mean, I could see if he picks up 30, 40 yards and potentially another touchdown on the ground, that makes it. He doesn't have to pass for very much.
Yeah.
And Benny Fowler's a name to keep in mind, because if he has another solid game, he might be someone that becomes the crutch for Trevor Siemian. On the Cowboy side of the ball, I mean, it's a tough matchup.
Yeah.
Aqib Talib has done a pretty good job. I mean, he held Keenan Allen to 50 yards. He did get a touchdown, but, Dez was basically eliminated by Janoris Jenkins.
Oh, my
Dez
goodness.
was just
Sunday.
destroyed on
Right?
Sunday. I mean, I was impressed.
I will say Dak did miss him in the end
No,
zone.
he did.
absolutely.
Yeah, he
should have had
totally
that
did.
touchdown.
I will say this: look, Dak Prescott looked a little nervous to me on
Yeah.
Sunday night. I think those nerves would go away in week 2.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I hope Des, as much as I want Des to have a bounce back game this week, I don't see it happening because of Aqib Talib.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's got a rough schedule.
really
And
does.
we talked
But-
about
Really
this.
does.
Yeah.
But I love Ezekiel Elliott in this matchup.
Oh,
You saw,
man.
you saw what Melvin Gordon was able to do. I mean, I think that's how they're going to beat it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Ezekiel Elliott looked really good against that defense, and I was like, whoa, running,
Whoa.
they're running against this team, and I thought they were going to taper the run a little
Yeah.
bit, but I'm going to tell you all something else. Did you guys see that catch that
Cole
my
Beasley.
little Cole Beasley made? Dude, I was like,
Cole Beasley.
dude, I was running. I was running to the bedroom. I was gonna go get my my veladora and
thought
the
you were gonna say the
vela.
lotion.
And dude, I might have gotten the lotion, dude. That was a sick
Crazy.
catch.
Man.
Everybody talk about Odell Beckham. I'm gonna talk about Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley.
Beasley.
What can't he do?
I'm really impressed.
crazy.
Cole Beasley is one of those guys that, you know what? You think, oh, he's too small, he's
Right.
too tiny, but dude, he catches balls.
He's like
man.
Rudy. He's like Rudy.
He is.
I just want to carry him off the field.
Yeah, he's gonna get carried off the field this season.
Has to.
Something's gonna happen, and Cole Beasley is gonna be the difference maker in one of these games.
Absolutely.
Little Cole Beasley on my shoulder.
That being said, who you guys got?
It's a tough game to call.
It is.
It is.
And if we only talk about difference makers, and I don't mean to be the black cloud, but if Ezekiel doesn't play that game, I don't think that they win. This game right here. And so I'm so glad that he's not, for you guys, I'm so glad he's not suspended because I think he is such a big difference maker. I think he wins this
He
game
is.
for the Cowboys. And I think without him, I'm not too sure Darren McFadden can pull it off or Alfred Morris. I think he's a
I was
special guy.
actually kind of disappointed.
Special guy.
Whenever they brought in Alfred Morris, I was kind of like,
well, geez, Poor Ezekiel, he had to breathe.
What are you doing,
Come on,
bro?
man. Jeez.
Who you got, Hart?
I'm gonna go with the Cowboys.
Me too, man. I mean,
Oh my God.
Bro. I love it.
who you got?
Puro Dallas Cowboys ese.
All right.
The Cowboys are back, bro.
I think it's a good game, though. I think it's a better game
I think
than last week.
you know what? All kidding aside, it's a really, really good matchup, and we'll just see.
Yeah.
With the Cowboys, they're not quite an elite team yet to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can see them getting a playoff run, but they probably won't get a bye. I don't see it this year.
Yeah.
I might be surprised. I don't know, but in all honesty, like really, really looking at this team, and I follow this team pretty heavily.
Yeah.
As far as like how players work and stuff like that, that secondary is garbage.
Oh, speaking of players, we didn't bring up old Trusty real quick.
Oh.
I know against the Giants, you always want to play Jason Witten, but this week,
Not this week.
right?
Not this week.
right?
I mean,
was thinking the
literally,
same thing.
The Broncos neutralized.
Hunter Henry and Gates.
No, I mean, I don't even remember seeing Hunter Henry. If you have Hunter Henry in
I
your
think he
team,
had one catch.
I am very worried. I know most people say don't make a lot out of one game, but
Let me look.
I hardly saw anything for Hunter Henry. So I'd be looking for like a Charles. I saw he's still available all over the place. So if you want to try Hunter Henry one more time, by all means. But
Gates had 2 receptions. Hunter Henry 0.
how many
Wow.
targets there?
Gates had 3 targets.
Hunter Henry.
None.
I'm telling you.
Nothing. Wow.
So,
Wow.
Interesting. All right, that's the Cowboys versus the Broncos. Let's move on. 49ers versus the Seahawks.
it's going to be a slaughter. They're
It's
playing
good. They're
at home.
Yeah.
49ers are coming off of like a butt whooping at home. It's going to be bad.
Let's go.
bad.
Win a little better.
No, but you can't say that about that.
better.
You can't say that about that team.
That's what it is, right? Win a little better, Seahawks.
It's a Vela, bro. V.
I'm sorry.
It's a Vela, bro. Puro Seahawks?
I mean, let's go. Chris Carson, let's go, man.
I mean,
I know Roz is going. I know Roz is starting.
there's something every Sunday morning. I look at my roster and I'll look to see if there's someone that I don't care about too much who doesn't have a lot of potential. And I'll say, okay, look at the matchups. Is there a chance that anybody that's on the waiver wire could go off? And I'll pick that person up. The biggest regret is I didn't do that with Tariq Cohen in a bunch of these leagues because I was holding on to Marlon Mack to see what he would do. But in this game, there's a chance that if Thomas Rawls doesn't do well, that Chris Carson steals his job because Eddie Lacy.
Man, that guy. God.
Do the thing.
I can't. It's too long. I didn't edit it. But,
It's bad. I mean, he looked real bad. And they didn't even, I mean, they hyped him up all preseason. He looked bad. CJ Procise didn't get much going.
No.
But when they gave that ball to Chris Carson, it looked like a totally different person.
Yes.
I mean, he was a difference maker. So if you got some space on your bench, pick him up.
Christopher, my man Carson.
Yeah. But I'm starting everybody.
Everyone. You're not going to start
This is a
everyone.
huge bounce back spot. I mean, I will say that Dante Johnson from the 49ers played very well. But I think Doug Baldwin
Oh, yeah.
and Paul Richardson could have good games. I think Jimmy Graham has a nice game.
Russell Wilson targeted Jimmy Graham so much last week.
Yeah.
And, it just wasn't there
They
because
just
the
didn't
Packers
match up.
defense was so good. But Jimmy Graham is there, man. I mean, he could go off this week.
That Seahawks defense, it could pull a Rams defense this week. If the 49ers play as bad as they played this past week, because the Panthers are not on the level as the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I mean, they're a very good defense, but they're not like Seahawks level good.
Yeah.
It could be a total blowout.
And which is why I like Chris Carson so much, because I feel if they get up that much and they want to see what they have out of their rookie, Chris Carson might be the
That's a
dude.
really good point.
Yeah.
That said, also, if the 49ers are getting blown out, I didn't see the score. I mean, I don't know if you have the stats from the 49ers game from last week when they played the Panthers, but I'm curious how many carries Matt Breida got.
Let me see. You guys should talk because this is going to take me a little
No,
while.
it's okay.
I'm sorry.
Because if it turns into a blowout, and I've done this before in some games. So like I said, I was all about Tevin Coleman last week because I thought the Falcons were going to get up big. It just didn't turn out that way. But if the Seahawks get up big in this game, and there's no reason for them to try to get Carlos Hyde injured,
Yeah.
they like Matt Breida a lot. And so if they gave him some run last week when they were getting blown out, there's a chance they can give him some carries again in this game too.
He got 4 carries to Carlos Hyde's 9.
I mean, they were just getting blown out, so they were passing the whole time. But there are some situations where they just kind of give up, and they're just going to run the ball and drain the clock too.
Yeah.
There's a potential that he could be that guy.
I like
But
that.
on the 49er side, if you're a crazy person, and you're like, I need to start someone in terms of matchups, the person with the best matchup right now is Marquise Goodwin.
Absolutely.
And Marquise Goodwin got targeted last week. And
Yeah.
There was at least 2 balls.
Yeah.
One of them that he just outright dropped.
He dropped it.
He could have had easily 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
If he caught the ball, and or if Brian Hoyer would have hit him in with the right, like he overthrew him in one point, which is crazy. I don't know how you could overthrow an Olympic runner, but he was able to do that. The potential's there for him to have a good game.
Sherman will be on Garcon, and so I think Goodwin's got that open spot.
All right, so obviously who you guys got?
Seahawks.
Come on now. Come on.
Say it, man. Just put yourself on the record.
Which one? You have
this game? Yeah.
Seahawks. Come on, man. Yeah. Seahawks winning this game.
Seahawks
all
winning
day.
this game.
What about you?
I'll go with the Seahawks. Whatever.
Yeah, right. Whatever.
Whatever.
By all means, choose San Francisco, buddy.
Yeah, choose them. Choose them.
All right.
I won't. A final game: Washington versus the Rams.
Last Sunday afternoon game.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately concerned about the Washington offense.
I am legitimately concerned about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I mean, that whole offense doesn't look like they're melding very well, but they are typically a team that starts off slow.
That's
Now,
That's
they
true.
are going to play at LA, and they're playing a Rams team who is getting back Aaron Donald. I mean, that's not where you want to be coming off a loss. And they're playing, that Wade Phillips makes such a difference on defense. And
Yes, he does.
I think typically if the Rams were still under Jeff Fisher and that whole regime, it would have been like a 20-9 win or whatever, however many points the Colts scored. But like I heard a lot of people say something that made a lot of sense. A good team that plays a bad team does what the Rams did, where they won by, they scored 40 some odd points or whatever.
Yeah.
So if they really have turned things around and are playing as good as as they played this past week, there's a good chance the Rams could win this game easily.
I kind of agree with that.
Washington looked there was nothing. I think Chris Thompson was the best player on the field for them last week. Terrell Pryor dropped a bunch of passes. He ran some wrong routes.
Yeah.
Josh Doxson, they were talking him up saying that he needs to earn some playing time, and then it looks like he popped up on the injury report again.
Yeah, hamstring again.
I mean, he's another first-round draft pick who might end up being a bust because of injury, but
I'm still not panicking on Terrell Pryor. He
No,
had
me not either.
11 targets, and I think I'm still rolling with him this week. Even in just my flex spot.
I mean, it's a tough matchup against Jermaine Johnson, but for the Rams, I think Josh Norman might be on Sammy Watkins. I don't know how much he'll travel with him, but for me, I think Cooper Kupp and Sammy Watkins and even Robert Woods to a certain degree, I think they all fall into that category of like a solid flex starter. You're hoping for 50 yards and a touchdown, and I think they could get that. The one person who I think actually might be a sleeper based on how well Zach Ertz played last week is Tyler Higbee.
Okay.
I think he could have a nice game this week. On the Washington side, the person with the nicest matchup is Terrell Pryor. But it's still, against Jermaine Johnson, it's pretty tough.
Yeah.
So, I don't like any of the running backs
No,
for
gosh, they
Washington.
did terrible. Rob Kelly. I'm panicking on Rob Kelly for sure.
And Todd Gurley, I'm still a little. I think what's helping him is how much they're involving him in the passing game.
Yeah.
But I am still concerned against based on how bad he was at running the ball last week.
What's going on with him, man?
I mean, and it's not necessarily a good matchup either because we saw that Washington or Philadelphia couldn't get much going against Washington either. So, I don't mind any of the wide receivers for LA as a flex, and I like Terrell Pryor in this game. And if you're super desperate, I kind of like Jared Goff.
Right? That's weird.
And mostly because less about his talent, but their GM and their coaching staff have done a really good job putting talent around him.
Yeah.
Who you guys got?
I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Although I agree with everything Art just said, I still believe in Kirk Cousins, man. I really do. I think this is it for him. I think this is it for him. I gotta go with my boy.
I think you're wrong.
Kirk Cousins.
All right, you got the Washington Redskins. I
sure do.
I have the Rams. And that being said, that brings us to the end of our Sunday game segment. We got one more game Sunday night after the break. But before we go on, this is the part where we talk about a little bit of advertising. So you guys, we've been on for a little while. If you guys are listening, somebody who wants to possibly advertise, have them reach out to us, crowdedtowncreative.com. Also, we've had some content come out in the last week or so.
Yeah.
If you want to check out some of our pictures, some of our videos that we produce, head over to crowdedtowncreative.com. You can go to our photo gallery, our videos. We appreciate if you can share our pages everywhere.
Push the share
please.
Button. Also, before I forget, if you're on iTunes, go rate us on iTunes.
Yes,
please review us. Even if it's like, hey, these guys are going to suck, but they're kind of funny.
Go ahead and write the review that you mean. Put 5 stars on it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
But they just tell us,
hate these guys.
I hate these
5
dudes.
stars. That's how much I hate them.
Exactly.
Awful.
5 burning stars of hatred.
That's the least you can do.
That would be good.
So go rate us on iTunes, and you can find us on iTunes. You can find us on SoundCloud, and you can find us on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that being said, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I done got my pump.
Dude.
I got my pump this morning.
You got your pump?
That's my Arnold impersonation. It's my Arnold.
Arnold? That's the worst.
It's a
Arnold.
pump.
Jesus. Good Lord. Tell me you're pushing record. Did you push record?
Of course I did.
Oh my God. It's awful. All right, guys. We are back after the worst dad jokes ever from Mr. Conqueso over there.
Is this Conqueso thing gonna stick? I
like
like
it.
I like it too. Conqueso's segment. Conqueso's corner. Ooh, I like it. Conqueso's corner.
I like that.
Man, that's nice. It's got a nice ring to it.
That is nice. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. Sunday night. Let's talk about. I am excited about this Sunday night game.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like I got robbed week 1 on a Falcons team that I think was just not ready to come out and play week 1. But I am excited about week 1. I want to see this matchup. I think this is the NFC Championship matchup we're going to see later this year.
Hey.
I think. I'm going on a limb because it's early.
Okay.
But I think this is who we see in January playing
All right.
at the end of it all.
I do think it is one of these teams. I think the other team will probably be the Seahawks. But I mean, I see.
I think the Seahawks are going to don't get beat by the Green Bay Packers in round 2 in the divisional round.
Dude, this is a great game. I mean, who aren't you starting?
Dude, it's just points everywhere.
You
it's
get
like when
points,
you played,
and you get points.
Like when you played Super Mario and like you'd hit one of them boxes and just coins everywhere. Just like it's just those boxes
Dude,
everywhere.
you should. The drops are so endless. Like here, you could do the ba-ding, 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 ba-ding.
That's it.
I guess I
Dude.
could.
I will say this, as much as it pains me to say this, Aaron Rodgers is a man.
But man, if that line doesn't hold up, because he got stepped on
He
a
did
number
get
of
stepped
times.
on a couple of
times.
Even had to like stop a little bit,
Yeah.
check his ankle.
Yeah.
Nobody gets more pissed off when they get hit than Aaron Rodgers, right? Did you see that?
Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
that's true. That's true.
But they are missing a lineman that is expected back soon, David Bakhtiari. And he'll make a huge difference for that line. I don't think he's going to be back for this game, but I mean, you saw what Tariq Cohen did to the Falcons. Ty Montgomery should. I mean, there's no sure thing in fantasy football, but this is pretty damn close.
He is gonna go off, man.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like Jordy. I like Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb looked really good this week.
Good. Now, I think that was a little bit because of the matchups and who Richard Sherman and some of the other cornerbacks were covering. But I like Randall Cobb and Jordy in this game. I think Devontae Adams is going to have the toughest matchup in terms of who he's facing against the Falcons. Julio Jones has a really good matchup. So does Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I read some stat, and I'm gonna get it wrong, but it's like Julio Jones averages in a home game something like over 100 yards and half of a touchdown on average.
Dude.
It's almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
Money.
I even like Devontae Freeman a lot. You know, he got that first game over with. He didn't do very much. Mm-hmm. They split carries almost exactly down the middle, which I don't think worked very well either. But based on the backs that we saw on Sunday, like Chris Carson, all those other ones.
Yeah.
You know, Chris Carson was the best running back out of all of them, and I think between Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman, I prefer Devontae Freeman. I think everybody has a solid game here.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is the only one I'm worried about. He's got a tough matchup against Robert Alford, but everybody else, start him.
Let me ask you about stupid Austin Hooper. Are you a believer? Are you rolling out with him again?
No,
No, right?
I don't believe it 100%. I still think he's a big part of the offense,
Yeah.
but I mean, 88 yards and one touchdown were total just
fluke.
broken play.
Yeah, come on.
So you take that away, and he's got 40 yards.
Yeah.
So
I didn't pick him up this week. I didn't rush out there for him.
There's a lot of tight ends. There's a lot of wide receivers that are still like in a current like hold and wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't start him.
Plus, like we talked about, Jimmy Graham was shut down.
And Martellus Bennett, I'm still not a believer in. Like if you drafted, I think a lot of people drafted him thinking he was going to be super solid, and I just don't think the targets are going to be there. I think it's going to be all wide receivers and Ty Montgomery.
I love
Interesting.
it. I love it. And obviously Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers, just shootout.
It's just going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited about this game, guys.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of
It's
fun.
going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
Who you guys got?
It's hard. I can't bet against Aaron Rodgers anymore.
You see?
It's hard.
Did you learn your lesson?
I learned my lesson. I can't do it no more.
I mean,
They look.
but the Falcons at home.
I still think the Packers pull it out.
Me too. What?
That's a whole team.
Man.
That's a whole team.
That's a
so
whole
it
team.
makes more sense. It's not as dirty
that's
as
a
when Dan
lot.
said it.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I was very one guy specific.
So
you
were definitely a one guy specific. Good night. So you got the Packers. Art, you have the Packers. Dan,
I sure do have Mr. Aaron Rodgers with the Packers.
and I unfortunately have Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
All right, man.
I just can't anymore. So that's Sunday night. By the way, who liked that new Sunday night song, the country? What's her name?
Carrie?
The theme song, Carrie Underwood.
I thought it was it different.
Yeah, it's different.
No, I didn't think it was. I thought it was a Monday night one that was different.
No, it's maybe. I thought the Sunday night one was different.
You know why I didn't hear it? Is because I really hate that song. I really, really do. As
That's
soon
why I
as
was
hear that,
asking.
I'll go walk away.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know, you can tell who the real singer in this band was. That was Arthur.
All right.
Anyway, let's move on. Monday night, Lions versus the Giants. I am not a believer in Eli Manning anymore.
He looks done.
He looks done.
And that's the beginning of this. Granted, they didn't have Odell Beckham. I think he'll make a huge difference if he's back for this game. But, whoo boy, Eli Manning looks rough.
Gosh, man.
They don't have a run game whatsoever. I mean, Shane Vereen is easily the most talented back in this team, and I don't think he's like a 25 carry or touch a game.
Oh no,
running back,
especially with Odell back. Whenever he does come back, I mean that.
That's another team. Like, why aren't you calling for Mark Ingram or Jerick McKinnon, even Jeremy Hill at this point? I think Jeremy Hill would be better and would suit this defense or this offense really well. But
absolutely,
I think it's on paper it's a really tough matchup for the Lions. I mean it didn't look like it on Sunday, but the Giants have a really tough defense. I don't like any of their running backs because I don't know what they're doing with their running backs. Like, Lions are just kind of using all of them.
I thought it'd be Abdullah. I really hoped it would be Abdullah. But
I was feeling the same way.
It looks like a full blown committee.
But I will say, in terms of I still think Stafford is startable. And
Money Stafford. Matty Money Stafford. That's his new name.
And the two wide receivers that have the best matchup. So Golden Tate has a pretty good matchup. Babytron. Kenny Galladay has a real nice matchup.
Done picked him up everywhere I could.
I love him. And I love him this week. On the Giants side of the ball, not touching their running backs.
No.
Before I move on, the other person who's like my start of the week and bounce back if someone dropped him, pick him up. If you have someone like Hunter Henry and you're trying to figure out what to do, Eric Ebron. You saw what over the time Jason Witten did against the Giants.
Yeah.
Eric Ebron should have a real nice game, like a real solid bounce back, like a real Eric Ebron type game.
A lot of people are down on him because of what he just did. He didn't do anything last week.
So I really like Eric Ebron in this game.
All right.
On the Giants side of the ball,
are you worried about Brandon Marshall? Oh, I'm sorry. I cut you off.
No, you're fine. I definitely am worried. He looked pretty done at the end of his season last year with the Jets.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's adding very much value to the team. And all he's really doing is getting in the way of Sterling Shepard.
They were so out of sync, man. It was weird.
I mean, all signs are pointing to Odell Beckham playing in this game, and they desperately need him.
Yeah.
Right now, he'd be the only person I'd be willing to start on the Giants.
Yeah.
Even with how bad the Lions have played in terms of defense, you know, they played pretty well against Carson Palmer, but that was because Carson Palmer was really bad.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Eli Manning has looked pretty bad. So I will say this: if Odell is not playing, I am starting that Lions defense.
Okay.
All right.
But if he is playing, I think he makes enough of a difference to keep the game close.
So what about the rookie from New York? Ingram, is that his name?
Evan Ingram.
Ingram.
He didn't have a big game last week. But, I mean, nobody. It's hard to tell what's going on. Like, I don't know if the whole offense just clicks better with Odell Beckham in the lineup, which his agent should be on the phone right now with the GM like, hey, buddy.
Right.
It is pay this man.
Did you see that?
They need me.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's because of Odell Beckham or if it's just Eli Manning is that bad. But I'm seriously at a point where I would not start anybody on that team except for Odell Beckham. Nobody.
So the real question is Father Time
There's a good chance.
starting to tap on that
not
shoulder?
You saw how quickly Peyton Manning fell off. But basically, came close to a Super Bowl, had another year where he did really, really well. And then it was just that last year, that team, the defense carried him to that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, he got benched for nasty-ass Brock Osweiler. So, I mean, if he's anything like his brother, there's just going to be a chance that he's done.
You know, I think of course they're watching the tape, and I think just if you watch the tape or if you were watching this game, Ingram looked awesome. Every time he got the ball, got a handle on it, I mean, that's an athletically massive guy.
I kept asking, why aren't they passing the ball more to him? So,
Right.
And second quarter, or second half rather, I thought I saw him get a couple touches in the second half, and they started moving the ball, and I thought, okay, this is the real Giant, and then nothing happened.
Yeah.
Well, because they just weren't targeting him at all, and I was at a loss.
I think if I have him in the league, I'm still keep holding on to him just because of the talent that he has, and maybe potentially could be just as much as a difference maker as Odell.
Yeah.
He's that good. He can be.
All right. So who you guys got?
Dude, until I hear anything, I'll do what you did last week with who was it?
What?
You said if someone was playing, you were going to play with Odell Beckham.
Odell, yeah. I said Odell.
You
Same
said,
situation.
same situation.
I think if Odell plays, Giants win.
Yeah.
If he's not playing, I'm choosing the Lions.
The Lions. You?
The only reason why I'm choosing the Giants is because their defense. And I don't think the Lions are even as close to being as good as the Cowboys. And I think if the Giants can shut down the Lions, I think maybe Eli can try to pull it off.
I'm going to be a dark horse, and I'm going to go with Matty Stafford. and I'm going to go with the Lions.
All right.
I mean,
All right.
why
So
not?
both you lines, is that what I'm writing down? Yeah. Right?
If Odell
Is yours
Beckham
conditional?
mine's
Okay.
conditional. If Odell plays, I'm going with the Giants.
I'm just don't care about either of these two teams. I want to see Matty Stafford win. Done.
Okay.
All right.
I like it.
So those are our games for the week 2. Let's move on to our segments.
Here
I
we
believe
go.
there's
You
a
guys
drop.
ready to drop? Yeah, here we go.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving you.
Yes.
God,
That's
that was
it.
terrible.
Is that bad?
We need to throw some music behind it.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
we
What I
get,
forgot to
but
do.
can we get sued for that?
No.
Better hope not.
I don't think so. I mean, technically, that's not even, 5 seconds of a
That's
clip?
not even 5 seconds.
But
of
I
a
don't
clip.
think that's an actual rule. Like people say, you can only play if it's only like 15 seconds. It's not a thing.
No, it is a thing.
I don't think it is.
I do.
Well, it's
A
not
little
even
bit.
the actual recording.
It's not the actual
a-
recording.
that's true.
It's a
You know.
likeness.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to call it that.
And listen, in a court of law, we can argue, and it'd be like that was not the song he was singing.
Yeah. I made that up.
All right, so let's talk about the doctor's orders.
Okay, so I'm always trying to look for value. The only place here that easily, like, okay, you're probably paying up because they're probably the number one defense on DraftKings. And again, and I should make that clear too. These are specifically for daily fantasy, and I exclusively play on DraftKings. So these are some players that I really like for DraftKings. I'm always looking for value, so that way you can pay up in other positions, premium positions like wide receiver or running back.
Yeah.
I love Alex Smith in this game against the Eagles. I don't think he's taking a step back. It really seems like he's trying things differently this season ever since they drafted Patrick Mahomes. I think he's going to have a really nice game. That's it. I know I have Cooper Kupp listed on my wide receivers, but I think I didn't put Tyreek Hill because it goes without saying you need to start Tyreek Hill.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that guy is
I think he
for
falls
real.
into the
Must
tier
start
of guys.
every year.
Yeah.
Or every game. But running backs, I love Marshawn Lynch. You saw what LaShawn McCoy did against the Jets. I think Marshawn Lynch should have a real nice game. I could see a couple touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
Wide receivers, I think Sammy Watkins is going to get a little bit of Josh Norman. And if that's the case, Cooper Kupp could have a really solid game against Washington. I already mentioned him once. Eric Ebron is probably my favorite start of the week. And the one defense you're paying up for, like I said, is the Raiders. They're probably going to be the number one defense to pay for. There are a few. I'll probably update this. So I put some sleepers up. I'll put those up probably tomorrow on our website. Ooh,
Wow.
that's not my butt. That was a motorcycle outside.
Had some bass to it, too.
Yeah. But I put all my sleepers there. I'll probably update that list once I get all the information I usually get on Thursdays when making my list. But like I said, I have some Hail Mary plays where I think if you're really desperate and you want to go really cheap on your quarterbacks, your wide receivers, running backs, or whatever, I'll put those on the website. And then we have the other segment.
Yes, we sure do.
Is
Are
there
you
a
ready
drop for
that?
this? Yeah, let's
there
see.
is. I mean, I guess I need to put music to it, but here we go.
Stacks on stack of the week. So bad. So bad.
It is, isn't it?
Okay.
Jeez, I just took our quality down, huh?
I mean,
did.
so bad.
I should have worked on that.
I mean, you're literally audio engineer, and that's all you did.
Look, guys, it's my son's birthday. All right.
Happy birthday to your son, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, he's 3 years old.
Great.
Crazy times.
Wow.
I can't believe it. I'm a dad for 3 years.
I'm a dad for 3 years. Yeah, for 3 years. That's crazy.
I need
crazy.
a dad myself.
All right, so for these stacks, again, so the whole idea of a stack is that you're taking advantage of all the points being scored by a particular team. So, for example, last week, if you started Sam Bradford, Adam Thielen, and Stephon Diggs in fantasy, that was a
You
solid.
don't want some money.
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
that
you
was a
did.
solid stack. Similarly, if you started Todd Gurley and the Rams defense, that was a really solid
You
stack.
don't want some
Oh,
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
My
So-
favorite one was, like Art suggested, the was it not Kelsey, Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, Zach Ertz, Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
I did that.
Yeah.
And I almost won $5.
I did right with that.
Yeah. So the ones I really like, if you want to pay up at wide receiver and tight end, and save a little bit of money on quarterback, I'd go Alex Smith, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. If you can fit them all in based on all the other the other makeup of your team.
Yeah.
This one's not going to be cheap. You're going to have to go cheap in all the other areas to make this stack happen. But Brady, Cooks, and Gronk. I mean, this is if there's a bounce back spot, it's playing in a dome against the Saints.
Yeah.
And I'm going to amend this one a little bit. So I have Marshawn Lynch and the Raiders. I still think Marshawn Lynch could have a good game, but you saw what that Raiders offense could do against the Titans away. They're playing at home, right? Am I right? Yeah. Yeah, they're playing at home. I mean, they could, just like I was saying with Tevin Coleman last week, they can get up big. And you saw when the Raiders were trying to just like run the clock down. They brought Marshawn back into the game, but they didn't give him like the full complement of carries you give like your primary back. They brought in DeAndre Washington, Jalen Richard.
Yeah.
I could see DeAndre Washington having a pretty good game, but I love the Raiders' defense. So my stack, I still stick with Marshawn Lynch and the Raiders. The other guy I really like, especially because this might be the only week you get him because he might get hurt in this game, Thomas Rawls and the Seahawks. If he stays healthy and they're just trying to, and like Dan said, for the Conqueso corner, if you don't use Rawls, I could see a Chris Carson Seahawks stack working out pretty well too.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
These are really good.
That's really good.
And if you make it to this segment, I mean, I tried a few of Art's stacks last week, and I didn't win big money, but I was at least in the positives.
Like you
it
said.
was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, and I'm right there with you. Like, whenever suggestions I'm giving you, I'm doing the same exact thing. I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah.
So,
Are you?
no,
How do I know?
Yeah.
I didn't win. I mean,
You didn't win some money.
I'm still here.
You're
with
still
you guys,
here
so
with us.
If I won
You know
something,
what? Whatever, bro. If you won some money, you'd still be here with us.
that's true.
Did you know I actually thought about that when I was like I saw that I was at 100. I thought, oh shoot, if I actually win some money, I don't know if I'm going to tell anybody. I'm going to be pretty selfish about that.
You should
That's what I'm saying, man.
Damn straight.
But obviously, I'm telling you, I didn't win money, so
I know you didn't.
I didn't for sure.
If you just picked one player over another,
Stephon Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Don't remind me, guys. Don't. I'm not very sad about it.
All right.
Well, thank you all
So-
again for sticking around this long because we recapped some of last week, news, went over all the games this week.
Yeah.
We're probably pushing 2 hours now.
You close to it? Yeah.
So thank you for sticking around again.
Yes.
Crowdandtowncreative.com. You can
Yes.
find all the content there. It'll link you up to our Instagram, our Facebook. Click the Living in Fiction tab. That'll get you to all of our articles and our podcasts.
yes.
Please rate on iTunes.
Rate on iTunes, subscribe on YouTube, please.
Leave comments
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Living in
Absolutely.
Fiction too. We also have, we have our Crowd and Town Creative Facebook page. But we also have a Living in Fiction Facebook page as well. If you want to go over there and like that.
And Instagram as well.
Yep. So thank you all so
Awesome.
much.
All right.
Good luck.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck
Talk
in
to you
week
guys
2.
soon.
It's because, I work with kids.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to start this little dad joke of the day because they always give me these dad jokes. Are you guys ready?
awesome. Okay, go.
Dude, that's something they do on. They did that for a little bit on Dave Damashek.
Oh, they did? Ah, never mind that.
I want to hear it.
steal
I want to hear it.
Okay.
I want to hear it too.
Well, did you guys hear about the cheese factory that was destroyed from the hurricane?
No.
Dude, it's terrible. All they found was debris.
Oh, God. Dude, that's where I feel like. You guys remember reading. You're an idiot. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember reading Rainbow? And at the end of you remember that drop that they had at the end of whenever the kid would give you his review, it'd be ba-dum-bum. That's what I feel like should have gone at the end of the.
I'll find it.
Have you seen the dad joke competitions that go on online on Facebook?
No.
It's like they each say them super corny dad jokes to one another, and you try to get the other person to laugh.
Oh, man, I would
Dude,
lose.
They're so funny. Some of the guys saying the jokes start laughing before because they're so stupid. There was one that's like, when does a sandwich cook? When it's bacon, lettuce, and tomato.
Oh my God. Ba-dum-bum. Hey, Dad, did somebody. Oh my God. You guys.
Look at him.